It's official, the new season of Formula One Drive to Survive will soon be available on Netflix, and the streaming platform has already revealed the date. So, let's take a look at the top stories of the 2022 season, what controversies must be included in the new season, and when we can watch the show. The upcoming season will take viewers behind the scenes to discover the people behind the world's most thrilling sport, as well as the political dramas from the 2022 season. Drive to Survive's 5th season will premiere on February the 24th and will include never-before-seen footage and conversations with all the players in the game. James Gay Reese, who made the award-winning documentary Senna, and Paul Martin are the executive producers who will bring it all to life. Having previously boycotted Netflix due to his frustration with the way the hit docuseries portrays F1 drivers and their quote-unquote fabricated rivalries, reigning world champion Max Verstappen will no doubt play a significant role in the upcoming season. And as we eagerly await the release of the new episodes, we've selected the top 5 storylines we believe must be addressed. The Porpoising Saga. The return of ground effect vehicles and a design that enables drivers to compete more closely together on the circuit were expected to herald in a new era for Formula One in the 2022 season. The difference between these animals and those driven during the previous rule cycle was immediately apparent. During pre-season testing in Barcelona, though, another phenomenon would make an unwelcome appearance. A video posted to F1's social media channel demonstrated the extreme bouncing known as porpoising, which happens when the car is pulled to the ground by the floor aero and then lifted back up by the rigid suspension. This raised concerns about whether the drivers were safe enough to race, prompting the FIA to implement new safety regulations after consulting with the teams. The most notable aspect was how it affected each squad in a different way. While the Red Bull appeared to be unaffected, Mercedes and Ferrari suffered from severe porpoising. This was largely due to the ingenious car design and the brilliance of Red Bull's Adrian Newey, who had experience addressing the same issue decades ago. The result was a bumpy ride for some, particularly for the Mercedes drivers. Lewis Hamilton famously struggled to exit his car at the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix due to excruciating pain he endured through the entire race. The public objections of Hamilton and Mercedes to the new F1 rules sparked widespread debate and an official dispute, which eventually led to the FIA adding procedures to regulate porpoising for safety reasons. Toto Wolff, the head of the Mercedes team, was accused by Red Bull chief Christian Horner of acting out in front of Netflix cameras, which are believed to have captured a heated argument between the two during a team manager meeting in Canada. Hopefully the meeting's true tension and the lack of class between the team bosses will be revealed in the documentary. Sergio Perez's deliberate Monaco crash. Who would have guessed that a seemingly insignificant accident in May would become such a hot topic near the end of the 2022 season? After his refusal to comply with Red Bull's request to offer teammate Sergio Perez 6th place in the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in order to aid his pursuit of 2nd place in the F1 rankings, Max Verstappen claimed his refusal was due to an incident in the past. Although Verstappen has never explicitly stated what he was upset about, it is widely assumed that Perez's crash in Monaco qualifying was the catalyst. Perez spun into the barrier in that session, with Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz collecting the Red Bull, causing a red flag. As a result, the grid was built using the results of the initial Q3 runs, with Verstappen starting behind Perez. Before the red flag, the Dutchman was on a faster qualifying lap, which would have propelled him past Perez, who went on to win the race on Sunday. Perez has consistently denied intentionally crashing, at least in public. According to the Dutch media, however, Verstappen's stance in Brazil was revenge for Perez's admission to Red Bull that his Monaco disaster was intentional. Did any of the alleged arguments end up on Netflix's cameras? We'd like to know the truth about what happened. The Oscar Piastri controversy. Oscar Piastri has already become an infamous figure despite not participating in any official Formula One practice sessions, all because a certain French team jumped the gun. Alpine's strategy was simple: apply to Oscar Piastri what Mercedes had successfully applied to George Russell. Send the junior driver to Williams to gain Formula One experience before returning to the senior team in a few years, whenever a spot becomes available, and reaping the benefits. With Fernando Alonso likely not budging from his cozy Alpine seat, the team was unable to force Piastri into the car. But not promoting a driver you've spent years supporting is also not a glowing endorsement of your junior program. Anyhow, Alpine's scheme to move Piastri to Williams ran into trouble when Sebastian Vettel's retirement set off an unlikely chain of events, with the Australian Formula 2 champion eventually given into Zak Brown and McLaren's arms. As was later revealed, Oscar Piastri's camp, managed by former Australian F1 driver Mark Webber, was not amused by the Williams offer, and they quickly started looking at other options. The day after the British Grand Prix, Piastri signed a contract that included a race drive if fellow countryman Daniel Ricciardo left due to his problems at McLaren. Alpine and Piastri had no formal agreement in place for 2023, according to the Contract Recognition Board, and Piastri was free to join McLaren. The Alpine-McLaren F1 saga, according to Piastri, was a difficult period in his professional life. There is no doubt that there were some heated and upsetting backstage conversations. Let's just hope the cameras were rolling. Red Bull's cost cap shenanigans. While the Formula One world awaited word on Red Bull's punishment for their violation of the $145 million F1 cost cap from Verstappen's first title-winning season in 2021, Horner and the FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem were seen chatting in depth at the United States Grand Prix paddock. It was one of the season's most gripping stories. The previous year's Drivers' Title winners effectively cheated the new financial regulations, which outraged every team in the paddock, and served as the first substantial challenge for the new management of Formula One. Homer and Ben Sulayem met numerous times during the weekend, and again before the Mexico City Grand Prix, to negotiate terms with the FIA for an accepted breach agreement. Oh, to have been able to listen in on those conversations. Following a heated exchange between Horner and McLaren CEO Zak Brown in Austin, Horner held a press conference in Mexico to discuss Red Bull's reaction to the FIA's decision. The F1 cost cap dispute was one of the year's biggest and most contentious talking points. We wonder if Netflix was able to get any additional behind-the-scenes footage. Sebastian Vettel's retirement. When will he retire has been the biggest question mark surrounding Sebastian Vettel ever since he left Ferrari at the end of 2020. The German could have ended his career with 4 championships, 53 victories, and a long list of records on his resume after leaving the Scuderia, but he wanted to keep racing and did so with Aston Martin. In terms of competition, his 2-year tenure had admittedly not gone as planned, as he only achieved 1 podium in Azerbaijan in 2021, though he was disqualified from second place in Hungary later that season due to a post-race fuel shortage. Vettel, however, found his voice away from the track, emerging as one of Grand Prix racing's voices of reason. How many other world champions would appear in Question Time, the BBC's political discussion program, and speak more logically than any of the panelists? He made fun of his own hypocrisy for claiming to care about the environment while driving in Formula One. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, he announced his retirement at the end of the current racing season, kicking off the silly season drama that followed. 12 years after becoming Formula One's youngest world champion, he finished a respectable 10th in Abu Dhabi. He also had the pleasure of driving the 3,500th lap of his career in the lead at Austin. Vettel left when F1 desperately needed voices like his, shouting from the pit lane. But
Yes. Great job.
But his legacy as one of the world's best drivers will live on. The 2022 season was filled with political intrigue, contentious on-track action, and emotional moments. If the Netflix crew can capture even a fraction of that, the new season of Drive to Survive will undoubtedly keep us on the edge of our seats. But what are your thoughts? What storylines do you hope to see in the upcoming season? Please let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it and subscribing. Be sure to click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for tuning in.